After discovering my sister was secretly having an affair with my husband, I stayed silent, gathered evidence, and dismantled their relationship and his reputation so completely that by the time they realized what was happening, I had already won. At 2:17 a.m., my husband's phone lit up, and my life quietly split in two. I didn't scream. That's the part that unsettles people when I tell them this story. They expect chaos, tears, a shattered glass on the floor. But I just stared at the screen, glowing in the dark, and felt something inside me go still. The message wasn't meant for me. It was meant for him, and it was sent by my sister. In that small, silent bedroom, with the shower running and steam slipping under the door, I realized two people I trusted most had been building a secret right under my nose. I could have reacted. I could have exploded. Instead, I started thinking. Because betrayal is loud in the beginning, but revenge is patient. And what they didn't understand that night was simple. I don't lose loudly. I win quietly. I didn't scream when I found out my sister was sleeping with my husband. That's the part people never believe. Tears. A scene. But I made tea. Chamomile. 2 cubes of sugar. I remember thinking, this tastes the same as yesterday, and somehow that felt offensive. Because yesterday I was a wife. Yesterday I was a sister. Yesterday I was safe. The message came at 2:17 a.m. Not meant for me. My husband's phone lit up on the nightstand. He was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. I don't snoop, I've never needed to. But the screen turned toward me, and there it was. I miss your hands on me already. Her name above it. My sister. My baby sister. For a moment I thought maybe there was another woman in the world with her exact name. Maybe coincidence had decided to be cruel. Then another message appeared. Right? Her. I remember it the way the shower was still running. Water hitting tile. Steam under the door. So normal. So domestic. I didn't move. Inside, something very quiet broke. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just final. He came out smiling, towel around his waist, lean shoulders. The same man who had held my face on our wedding day and promised steadiness. I handed him his phone. You have a message. He glanced at it, and for the first time in our marriage, he didn't look at me after reading something. He looked away. That was confirmation, not guilt, not fear. Avoidance. He recovered quickly. He's good at that. He has always been charming. Confident. The kind of man who makes waiters laugh and investors lean forward. He kissed my forehead like nothing was wrong. Go back to sleep, he whispered. I did. Or at least, I closed my eyes. Because in that moment I understood something very important. Rage is expensive. Silence is strategic. The next morning I called my sister. Brunch? I asked. My voice was steady, light, even. She hesitated for half a second. Then she agreed. She arrived glowing. She always glows. She's the younger one, softer face, big eyes, the kind of woman people instinctively protect. She hugged me tightly. I've missed you. I almost laughed. Missed me? I studied her over coffee. Her hands trembled slightly when she reached for her cup. She wouldn't hold eye contact long, but she was composed, practiced. This wasn't new. This had history. I asked about her job, her friends, her latest trip. She answered easily, smiling. And then I said it. You've been spending time with Daniel. Not a question. Her lips parted, closed. A flicker. Yes, she said carefully. We've been talking. Talking. I nodded. That's good. He needs support. She searched my face, waiting for something. An accusation, a crack. I gave her none. Instead, I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You deserve someone who chooses you. Her breath caught, just for a second. She thought I didn't know. She thought she was winning something. That's when I realized something else. This wasn't just about desire. It was about competition. She had always lived slightly behind me. My grades were higher, my career steadier, my marriage first. People compared us. They always do. And now, she had taken the one thing that made her feel ahead. My husband. I left brunch smiling. And that night, I began collecting. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I watched. Patterns reveal truth faster than arguments. He started working late twice a week. My sister suddenly became unavailable on those same evenings. He changed his phone password. I didn't ask for it. I didn't need to. I knew his email login. He never thought to change that. Arrogance is a beautiful weakness. I didn't rush. I let weeks pass. I let them grow comfortable. They started slipping. Hotel bookings under his business account. Ride shares to her neighborhood. Deleted messages still stored in cloud backups. People underestimate quiet women. They think calm means clueless. It doesn't. It means patient. The humiliation came in small doses. Family dinners where she laughed too loudly at his jokes. The way his hand lingered on her back when passing plates. A glance between them that lasted half a second too long. No one else noticed. Or maybe they did, and chose comfort over truth. I felt it though, every time, a subtle sting under my skin. I would sip my wine and think, not yet. Because revenge done too quickly is just another mistake. Early looks emotional. Revenge done at the right time looks inevitable. One evening, he came home smelling like her perfume. She's worn the same scent since university, vanilla with something sharp underneath. He kissed me. I didn't flinch. I smiled. Family dinner this Sunday, I said. My place. He froze for a fraction of a second. Everyone? He studied me carefully, searching. He found nothing. Because by then, I was already 5 steps ahead. I hired a lawyer quietly. Not for divorce. Not yet. For information. Shared assets, business ownership structures. Leverage. Daniel had moved some investments recently, large ones, into accounts he thought I didn't monitor. He underestimated me financially. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was assuming my sister understood the stakes. She thought this was romance. She had no idea it was war. Sunday arrived. The house smelled like rosemary and garlic, candles lit, music soft. My parents came, my cousins, my aunt, and her. She walked in wearing red. Bold choice. Daniel followed behind her, relaxed, confident, performing normal. I greeted them both warmly. I served dinner. I laughed at stories. And then, when dessert was placed gently on the table, I stood up. I have something to share, I said lightly. Conversations quieted. Daniel stiffened. My sister's fork paused midair. I picked up the remote from the console. Behind me, the television screen flickered to life. Silence. I believe in transparency, I continued, especially in family. My heart was steady, slow, controlled. The first image appeared. A hotel receipt, date and time stamped. Then another. Security footage from the lobby. His face, her face, entering together. A collective inhale around the table. My mother blinked rapidly. Daniel stood up abruptly. Turn that off. I didn't. Instead, I let the next image appear. Screenshots of messages. I love you. She doesn't suspect a thing. My sister's face drained of color. She looked small suddenly. Not glowing, not bold, just exposed. Daniel tried to speak, to frame it, to soften it. I raised my hand gently. No, I said quietly. Let's not insult everyone with half-truths. Silence pressed against the walls. I walked slowly to the table, looked at my sister first. You could have had anyone, I said softly, but you wanted what was mine. Her eyes filled with tears. Then I turned to him. And you, I continued, voice steady, thought I was too trusting to notice. I let that hang. Because here's the thing. This wasn't revenge. This was just the opening move. They didn't know that yet. They thought humiliation was the punishment. It wasn't. Humiliation is temporary. Consequences are permanent. I picked up my glass of wine. I'll let you two explain the rest. And I sat down. The room stayed silent for a very long time. And for the first time since 2:17 a.m. That night, I felt nothing at all. Which meant I was ready. They thought they had already lost. They were wrong. They had no idea what was coming next. The loudest part of revenge is the silence that follows exposure. After the screen went black, no one moved. My mother's hand was still wrapped around her napkin. My father stared at the table like it had personally offended him. My sister was crying now, not dramatic sobbing, just quiet, ugly tears that ruined the mascara she had carefully applied. Daniel looked at me, not ashamed, calculating. I almost respected that. Almost. He cleared his throat, tried to step into control. This isn't the full story. Of course it wasn't. It never is. I tilted my head slightly, calm, observing. Then please, I said softly, enlighten us. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Because what could he say? That loneliness justified betrayal? That passion excused deceit? That my younger sister just happened? He glanced at her, maybe hoping she would speak. She didn't. She couldn't even look at him anymore. The power had shifted, and everyone felt it. But here's what they didn't understand. That dinner was not the revenge. It was the announcement. The next morning, I filed for divorce. Not emotionally, strategically. I had already separated our finances weeks earlier, quietly, legally, cleanly. The business he thought was ours had clauses he never read carefully. Clauses I had insisted on when we started expanding 3 years ago. He had laughed back then. You and your paranoia. I think he used that word. Paranoia. It's funny how preparation always looks like paranoia, until it saves you. The majority stake was in my name. The intellectual property, mine. The emergency contingency accounts, also mine. Daniel had charm, vision, confidence. I had paperwork. And paperwork wins. End. He came home that evening angry. Not remorseful, angry. You humiliated me, he said. I was sitting on the couch, reading. You humiliated yourself, I corrected gently. He paced. That same hair my sister used to braid when we were teenagers. Strange, the details your mind holds onto. You didn't have to do it like that, he insisted. Public, that's what he meant. Consequences are heavier when witnessed. I closed my book slowly. You didn't have to do it at all, I replied. That stopped him. Silence again. Then the shift. He tried softness. We can fix this. I studied him, really studied him. He didn't love me in that moment. He loved stability, access. And maybe he loved the version of me that didn't fight back. I already fixed it, I said, and I handed him the envelope. Divorce papers. His hands shook slightly as he flipped through them. You can't take the company. I'm not taking it, I said calmly. It was always legally structured under me. His eyes darted across the pages. That was the moment he realized something crucial. He had underestimated me from the beginning. My sister tried to call. I didn't answer. She sent messages, long ones, emotional, apologetic, defensive, confused. I never meant for it to go this far. It always goes this far. It doesn't know moderation. I didn't respond for 3 days. Let her sit in it. Then I invited her over. She arrived without makeup this time, smaller somehow, not glowing anymore. I'm sorry, she whispered before sitting down. I nodded once. I know. She looked surprised. You know? Yes, because apologies are predictable when consequences arrive. She cried again, said she felt invisible her whole life. Always second. I listened, not to comfort, to understand. She didn't want Daniel because she loved him. She wanted proof she could take something from me. And she did. For a while. I leaned forward slightly. Was it worth it? She couldn't answer. That was enough. I'm not destroying you, I continued quietly. Life will do that part on its own. Her breath caught. I wasn't threatening. I was stating a fact. Because the world is not kind to women who build relationships on betrayal. And men like Daniel, they repeat patterns. She thought she had won a prize. What she inherited was a habit. The divorce proceedings moved quickly. Daniel tried to negotiate publicly first. Reputation management. He hinted I was cold, difficult, too career-focused. I didn't defend myself. I released evidence. Emails, financial transfers, timeline documentation. Clean, precise, undeniable. He stopped talking after that. Our investors didn't like scandal, but they liked clarity. They liked numbers, and the numbers favored me. Within months, he was removed from operational leadership, officially for internal restructuring. Unofficially, no one trusts a man who risks business for ego. He lost more than a wife. He lost credibility. And credibility, once cracked, never quite seals again. I saw them once more, together, at a mutual friend's event, more like anchoring herself. He looked thinner, less polished. When he noticed me across the room, he straightened automatically. Old instinct. I gave him a small nod. Polite. Controlled. My sister's eyes searched my face, maybe for anger, maybe for regret. There was neither. Only distance. I had already grieved them both, privately, in silence, weeks earlier. That's the advantage of finding out first. You get a head start on healing. People assume revenge is explosive. It isn't. The most devastating revenge is elevation. I expanded the company the following year, international clients. My name alone. No shared credit. No divided ownership. At an awards dinner 12 months later, I stood on stage accepting recognition for business leadership. Warm. Intentional. As I stepped down, I caught a glimpse of Daniel near the back of the room. He wasn't invited as an executive. He was someone's plus one. Life is precise sometimes. My sister wasn't there. I heard later they had broken up. Apparently trust issues surfaced. I wasn't surprised. Patterns are loyal. Here's what I learned. Betrayal feels like humiliation at first, like you've been made small. But that feeling is temporary. If you don't react emotionally, if you watch, gather, prepare, the humiliation transfers. Slowly, quietly, completely. I never screamed. I never begged. I never asked why. I already knew why. Entitlement. Simple things. Predictable things. What they didn't predict was me. Sometimes I think back to that night, 2:17 a.m., the phone lighting up in the dark. If I had screamed then, if I had thrown the phone, if I had confronted them immediately, I would have lost leverage. Emotion clouds strategy. Silence sharpens it. And in the end, the sharpest blade is the one no one sees being lifted. People ask if I forgive them. I don't carry hate. That would mean they still occupy space inside me. They don't. What I carry is memory, and memory keeps you wise. The last time Daniel tried to speak to me, he said, "I didn't think you had it in you." I almost smiled.